Did I go live? Okay. Hello? Hello?
Hello, hello.
Um, so honestly what happened, I don't even know if anyone is here. But I looked wrong at the time. That's what happened.
It
Happens to
happened.
everyone. I was eating dinner and I was convinced it was 8. But also I wanted to leave the dinner table like half an hour ago and it didn't let me because my nephew wanted us to color for him. So if I had left, I would have seen like right after we were supposed to start because my phone was downstairs because it was charging because it didn't have any power. Everything was against us. But we are here now.
True. Yes, we
Uh,
are.
yes, we are here to talk about In the Watchful City by Qiouyi Lu. This is like a short story collection where we have our main character, and Air is like a guardian of like the city, and then it comes in like this stranger that tells story of a world, and then Air wants to go out or whatever in a world, and that's it. And the stories that have been told, I didn't get them, but yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah.
So what did people rate it? What did you think about it? You can start, Cecilia,
um, this could be controversial. I think I'm gonna give it a 2. Maybe two
because
and a half. 3 at most. It's between a 2 and a 3 at the moment. Um, I like the concept. I see where it was going, but I don't like the execution. I didn't think it was I didn't I thought the way it was formatted and made it kind of confusing, at least to me, and from what I saw in Goodreads reviews, a lot of other people as well. I also didn't like the audiobook. But that could have just affected how I was feeling about the book. But like I liked the concept. I liked a lot of the like stories that was discussed. I just wish it was either edited or assembled in a little better way.
yeah,
Yeah. What do you think, Sandra?
I just see that we are getting like
Oh yeah.
called out in the chat. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Not always. One time you went to work when I was gonna have a live, and I will never forget it. This
I know.
pink light, by the way, is my curtain, and I'm gonna wait. I didn't like it. Much better.
Love it.
Excuses. Hello. I enjoyed the stories, but didn't get the framing story. 2.5, 4. I gave it 4 when I read it. Now I feel like it's about a 3.
Mhm.
But like, is I enjoyed it when I read it. But now, literally, I'm gonna be completely honest. I cannot remember a single thing about it. So I
Mhm.
don't know. It's not just something to do with like how it is very like it's so short. It like didn't don't stick in your brain for that long. And since it's very like what's it gonna say like vague, like
Yeah.
it's not like direct. It's very like vague and like out there and out there. It like it confuses you and you're like you think you understand, but because it's kind of a bit confusing, it
Mhm.
will make you forget it. For me, so like I don't know. I wouldn't rate it a 2 for me because I feel like that's a bit low, but like maybe a 3, but like a weak 3 maybe.
Mhm. Makes sense.
Mm. The books was vibes and very I don't know, can you get a grip on it? Some of what I caught I did like overall, but I was very confused.
Yeah.
One time I will never forget. Have a body helping and made Jake's vibes. Honestly, don't cannot remember a single thing. I would like to like what was the even the stories? Can anyone
So
remember?
remember the first story. I remember the first story felt like such a pivot that I was like, "Am I listening to a separate book?" Because the regular story, I was like, "Okay, this feels like this is like very sci-fi. I'm feeling it. You know, we're going to different bodies, consciousness." And then the first story, we're like, "We're in a mythological land, and this is happening." And I'm like, "What did I accidentally click on the wrong audio?"
I thought that like when the first story started, I didn't realize we were telling a story. I thought we would just change point of views.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
felt.
and then I was like, "Oh, we are a story."
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, what is this story? That was a pivot."
Yeah,
I feel that. It
log
also
and
didn't help that
report.
listening to the audiobook, the author narrates the audiobook, and I don't know the author's pronouns, so I'm just gonna say they. Um, but um, they didn't have any different voice. Like you know how in audiobooks they have
Mm-hmm.
like do different voices for characters. None of the characters had different voices, and everything was kind of said in a very monotone way. So
Mm-hmm.
everything felt Sometimes when we switched to a different person and they were talking, I didn't realize or notice that it was a separate person was speaking. And so when we would switch to a different story, I didn't realize we were in a different story.
I'm confused was for reading How Long to Black Future Month. At the same time, I had a hard time listening with choice which book.
I'm sorry.
A air. Yeah, it's like air, a bit of like with the and then it's air like this. And I'm a bit confused of how you pronounce the different ones or if you pronounce them the same.
Yeah, in the audiobook, in like certain ways, it could have been the speed and I like slowed it down so I can like hear specifically how to say it. It sounded like it was just like a or ear, kind of like if I had to say it air pillow, air pillow, a
Mm-hmm.
pillow, like that, I guess, from what it seems
Because
like.
it's like it's that and then it's I'm just gonna write it in the chat. I tried to listen to like recordings where people were saying it, but I didn't
Mm.
really get like the difference between these two. Like, is it the same pronunciation even though it's written differently?
At least when I heard in the audiobook, I thought it was just one, so I didn't. It
Yeah,
sounded just like the same.
in the book it's written with a a, and in no a, the first one is an actual letter. That's our three letters in the end. So we say ah. So for me it becomes r, but I know that's not how you pronounce it, and that is what confuses me because it's like a letter with a different sound in my language.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's why I'm just like, well, how do I say this? Because I would say this with like is because it's a Nordic letter, I think.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. That makes sense.
yeah, it's just A and E shoved together because like most alphabets doesn't have the A. Maybe that's what it is.
I can see that.
Maybe I don't know. I'm just asking. So I tried to find out, and I was just like, in the bio in the end of the book, it is used air pronouns
Oh,
for the author, but they could be using both. So yeah.
true. Whole thing about it. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's we
Okay.
needed. Cool.
What more to say? I'm trying to grasp in straws in my head of what happened in these stories. I feel like there was one I liked. I don't remember which one it was.
Okay, Sarah and Tanya were agreeing with me about the audiobook that it was kind of
Mm-hmm.
monotonous. I mean, yeah. Especially I remember the scene with the drowned suicide. It was also kind of monotonous to the point where I feel like I was supposed to feel some type of like emotional, and I kind of felt nothing as I was listening to that scene, just
Mm.
because it was said in such a way that I was like, oh, kind of like, oh, it happened. Let's move
Mm-hmm.
on,
Well,
which could be
I
useful.
didn't listen to the audiobook, so I don't know.
Fair, fair.
I don't like, unless I read it before, I don't like listening to the audiobook of like
Hmm.
book club books because then I feel like I like to see their names, etc.
Makes sense.
But it doesn't maybe make sense.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh, it says O A also has um, pronunciation preferences in a few other languages. I wonder how you say that. I have no clue.
But if you think that it is not the audiobook, like because like obviously the story exists outside it. I was gonna say
True,
like
true.
outside audiobook. If you didn't listen to audiobook, if you only think about the story,
Yeah, I would
like
probably be.
what did you like
I would.
about it?
Let's see. I thought the characters were interesting. I wish we got a little bit more into them. I really liked the perspective of. Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Sarah. Um, Sarah's story. Um,
They're like the
with the feet
vessel.
binding. I can't remember. Yeah, it says more often I like the audiobooks because I like to hear the names pronounced because I have no idea on my own. Yeah. Fair. Because the thing is I tried to read it physically and I just could not get through it. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with
It
the
is a
audio.
bit like I thought. Also, it was a bit like I was gonna say shaky. So I get why. I'm trying to see if I have notes for it.
Mhm.
No notes. I
I
just
see.
had nothing to say apparently.
Yeah, 'cause I
Also, do you
remember
like my pin, my button?
I do like your button. Super cute.
It was Pride today in my city, but I didn't get to go because I
Oh,
worked. But then we took on these to support at the library.
oh, that's lovely.
Mm,
Like that. Oh, Vessel. I think it was Vessel. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, we talked about the foot binding, and I thought that was really interesting. And I wish I had more of that, or I would say maybe not more of it, but also like maybe a whole book. um, it just kind of felt a lot of times where it's like, oh, I don't really care about this, and my brain would start to tune it out. Um, and I
Okay.
realize I do that when I physically read as well. Is that I'll be reading, but my brain is elsewhere, but I'm still
Mm,
physically reading. So I just felt
that's
like,
what I do as well.
yeah, I felt like I
Uh,
started tuning it out.
I thought it was interesting when the main character told her story in like kind of verse wise, like
Mhm.
it was not like full length text. And like I thought at first I would hate it, but I actually thought that was clearer. That
Yeah.
I thought that was clearer than like when it actually was clear text. I was like, huh? But then when we went into like the words, I was like, that was like I understood everything there. So I guess
Mhm.
that was like my favorite part. It was just
It
a
was
bit
a good
funny.
part. I really liked that. And then they would just it had its moments.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm
Sarah
looking through it
said,
now.
mm.
I
Sarah said,
really like
yeah, oh yeah, you were saying.
no, it's just I really liked how that was written. I think that was like the most interesting part of the book for me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Why September is not Prime Month anymore?
I know. My pride, our Pride week was last weekend, and I worked the whole weekend. Tomorrow, bless you. Tomorrow, I'm going to like a garden Pride event, and they're gonna have like Pride themed, like rainbow themed chicken. Bless you.
Nice. I assume it's pronounced like ta, like blah 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 blah, and what X mean like the left radical. They also list ta supposed in Chinese.
Okay,
Interesting.
it's good to know.
Mm-hmm. I will forget in 4 minutes, but yeah, good to know.
True. Anima stuck more with me. Yeah, I think that the Matrix bit I was talking about, that they exist as a consciousness hive mind sort of thing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they could like kind of read each other in a way, and then Air had to decide in the end, like if Air was gonna go. I don't know. No.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just like by the end, I was like, all right, cool, we're done. I
Yeah.
started to like try to like mentally wrap it up. Let me see what else.
I'm just looking in the end. I'm just like, what happened here?
I was trying to. There was something I wanted to discuss, and I'm trying to remember what it was, and I don't know why I'm like blinking on
They
it.
just said bye, and then because Air helped, no, Seer helped Air get out of the city,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were like, "See you later," to each other.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Like the light fades, Amina opens Air eyes and sees the world. But I thought that Air was actually in the like physical city. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think it was like like a hive mind like the Matrix. But I know they were all connected in there, like all the people there.
True. Like it made sense, but I was still like, oh,
But
okay.
maybe it was like a Matrix city because it says "Take me out of the city with you."
True. Oh, it says, oh, Air gets a body.
What? Does that mean that Air didn't have a body this whole time? I assumed that like actually because
So like, but I remember there was a part where it said that um who I don't remember who they were talking to, but they said that they saw like Air's like true form, like mentally saw their true form, and like physically they weren't seeing what they actually looked like. So
I just assumed it was
I
like kind of like they have like all the people that they have like contact lenses or something, and then you can like choose how you look like as you want.
mm,
That's what I assumed. I didn't assume that they were just lying there and like in like a machine. That's not what I thought. But now that I think about, but like because if they all lie, like in a machine, if they lie like that, how did this one person come in there? Because then that person would need to plug into the city, and then just what is then the point of going in telling stories? I didn't get that part done. That doesn't make any sense. I thought
yeah,
it was like
I think about
physically people went into the city,
it.
and
Mm-hmm.
then like Air talked about Air parents like going different cities and places, Does that then mean that it's different places people lie there and live in a unreal city? Because I thought it was all physical, but now I'm confused.
Sure. Yeah, it says air consciousness was jumping from creatures. Oh, sorry, there was another one. But A did have a body that sat in a slime bath and was connected to a tree using a vine that they cut off at the end. Air's consciousness was jumping from creature to creature like different animals. I remember that part because I remember at the beginning, it said that Air had like just left the lizard body, and then it described that the lizard body just kind of fell limply to the ground.
Okay, so I just misunderstood the whole book. Like literally the whole book. The whole book. I was on a different plane. I was in a different universe.
Yeah. I assumed like Air like unplugged the lizard body and then just plugged, herself into it, but I don't know.
But so when Seer told Air stories,
Mhm.
did Seer just send them like
You're right.
like a file? You open a file in your head.
You're like, let me just send an email real quick, and it's just like it. Was it?
Well, that means I just didn't understand the whole book because but the whole story was like my mother was a kitsune, my dad, la la la, and like,
Yeah.
and they was all like they were doing stuff, like they did stuff. So then
Maybe is that why the Air's parents like the Air couldn't see them anymore because they got unplugged?
I don't understand anything anymore.
Like that's what I'm thinking. Like this is like the precogs from some movie, Minority Report. Oh, they're stuck in goo. I've never seen Minority Report, but
Neither have I.
for sure thought of them, Anima and Bessel.
Now we need to.
Oh, there was also that one part where Anima had said that where Air is at now was better than being alive.
Okay, I
Or how
apparently
Air was when Air was alive.
wait. No, because I'm reading like the part about Air life.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think that's what it was said.
Because it's like when Air talks about her dad, it's like he thinks about how much it costs to put food on the table, a roof over our heads, clothes on our backs.
Is it virtual money? Like what is?
Now I don't understand. Did they before that live in like a normal life?
Yeah. Is
I
there
don't.
capitalism in this matrix?
I don't understand because that's what it says in like the story about their life.
Maybe I need to. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I need to reread it because I feel like
No,
the more I
wait.
think about it, the more.
Then it says, once he spun enough stories for the night, my father would return upstairs, transforming with each step from whatever form he had taken, whatever that was.
I thought they were physically present in the place where Anima's body was because it was like, how did you get into the server room, more or less?
Every child in Aura knows there is a world behind the borders of the city. Every child in Aura knows there's nothing to want from that world. After all, we are provided with all we ever need and all we can ever want. We have the longest lifespans of any nation, the highest literary rates, the best education, the best healthcare. Choose any measure and I can tell you how we surpass the rest of the world in it.
So it's like the Matrix. If you want to leave, you have to take the the blue pill, and you have to leave.
And then it says you can leave the city if you have the reason to. My mother, a courier bearing messages on paper for the rest of the world to read. But when I read this, I just assumed it was like a city with like walls, like, you know what I mean? What I meant.
Yeah.
It's the Matrix. I missed
it's really the Matrix. It's literally the Matrix.
I didn't read a book. I'm a fake. Just like delete me from this. I am late, and then I didn't read a book.
I love you like realizing like that's what this is about.
Yeah, now I didn't read. I don't understand. Now I need to reread the whole book, I think.
I know. I was like, do I need to reread this too? Because I was like, there's moments where I'm like, oh, what?
Because then it says, sorry, I'm sorry that I'm reading so much from the book, but this is
You're good.
important.
It is
It says,
important.
I was 9 when my parents left. My father wore someone else's face as he showed a stolen exit visa to the IO gate. Why did they just leave their child in this?
Right? That's why
That's so
couldn't.
I thought that they left the child because, like, they were poor or something. I didn't really get it. I did, but then they literally left their child, like, in, like, a machine.
Yeah, like, why didn't they come to get their child? Like, what was the reason? What was the reason? I don't understand. Were they neglectful? I don't. All the other citizens just walk around the island, not plugged into the tree.
But then it says that air went and no, maybe that's not real. It says my father's elder sister pulled me away from the flames. So then I assumed it was real flames. But
Mm.
nothing here is real. So then it just tricks me.
I think they were planning to get their child later when they were settled outside but weren't able to. It's like, but why weren't they able to? What was
I
the
didn't
reason?
I didn't yet know what citizens was why remoking it meant. I could no longer see my parents, didn't yet understand what a border was, why crossing one didn't always mean you could return. Okay, but why are we talking about borders? It's not a border if it's just a machine. I don't understand. It what
Sarah's like, I just read the back of the book says Anima is an extrasensory human. Okay, I guess I missed that part.
Yeah, but I
I
thought
feel
that
like I missed that part.
extrasensory human meant that like maybe they had like abilities since like it was a protector of the city, or like they could have like a headset on that could give them vision. I
Yeah.
literally read like a whole Brandon Sanderson book where everyone was wearing like contact and everyone just saw fake stuff the whole time, and they walked around and stuff. They just couldn't see anything.
Mm. For some reason,
Uh,
when I said what was it called? Intrasensory human. I was like, oh, so like an empath, but like a magical
yeah.
empath. Like that's what I thought was. Oh, they could just feel feelings more. But that could just be me.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, it says human tasked with surveilling and protecting over citizens via complex labor. It's a physical place or not? So it is a physical.
so it is a physical. Okay, so it is a physical place, but the cops are plugged in like the Matrix. Why?
Why are
Why?
they plugged in like the Matrix? If they are the cops, do they so they walk around on this island, but they have like a connection in the brain to this machine. But then
Yeah.
it's not like the Matrix. Then it is like what I thought.
Do they unplug on their off time? Like, are they only plugged in during their shift?
That's what now it's like what I thought. Now this is such a whiplash. First I thought not.
Yeah, it's like
I'm giving up.
exactly.
I'm
Sandra is in
leaving.
another place.
You know, I came just for dinner. I really had to pee and I didn't get to pee, and I'm like about to pee myself.
Oh no! Please don't pee yourself.
Well, I'll
They
pee
don't want
myself live.
They don't unplug. Okay, so in order to become a cop, you have to say, "All right, I want to be plugged into this tree for the rest of."
I guess it's wireless. They can't have a cord trailing behind them the whole time.
True, I guess. So it's like Wi-Fi. They're Wi-Fi connected, Bluetooth connected to the tree.
You need to entertain the people. I have to pee.
All right, please pee.
Like
Don't pee
please just
yourself.
entertain. Like give me
Yeah,
like 1 minute.
I will entertain the people. Let's see. They just stay in the server room with the slime bats and stuff. Okay, so themselves stay in the okay. There's literally Vine connecting Anima to the tree. So Anima's just walking around the island with the vine connected to them, or their consciousness is connected to other things. In the meantime, let's pretty keep precogs. You'll see what I mean. All right, let me look up precogs now, because now I'm curious what you mean. Precogs. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, that makes sense. I wish I could like share my screen, but oh wait, can I? Oh, I can. Let me see this. Here for the people. Oh wait, never mind. I can't change it.
That was
I'm gonna stop
that
my
was
screen.
lovely.
I looked up what precogs means. They're just pretty much like humans and slime. And like not a slime bath, like kind of a slime bath.
So I thought we had nothing to talk about for this live, but I just realized I'd never read a book.
It's like we'll come back in a month and have reread the book and we'll discuss. Obviously, we don't know what we're talking about. I feel like I like blacked out half of the book apparently now because
Same.
because like am I missing it? So, okay, air body is hanging around in the tree server room all the time while they astral project into lizards and birds to do cop shit.
That's
Okay,
so weird.
that
High
makes no sense.
Oslo. It makes sense, but I missed it. Like this, so
Right?
so air is not physical, but the city is physical. But now I thought the city was not physical, but it was the opposite. And now I'm just giving up.
Yeah, it's like
That's
that's a
so
wild
weird.
to be a cop, and apparently I'm arrested now. Like imagine getting arrested by a cop. Wow. I mean, imagine getting imagine getting arrested by a lizard.
Have you ever been arrested by a cop, lizard? Or
I've been
have you?
pulled over, but I've never been pulled, but not by a lizard
Where did you get pulled over?
for speeding.
Did you get a ticket?
Of course.
Was it a lot?
It was like $200. But
Yeah.
if I did like the mandatory like Saturday training session, then I didn't have to pay. So
Did you do that then?
no, I forgot, so I had to pay the two.
Oh my god!
I forgot about it.
Sorry.
I literally forgot about it. Oh yeah, they're in the Illuminati. Have you been pulled over by a lizard? I mean, have you been arrested by a lizard?
I don't drive. Like
I mean, arrested in general by a lizard.
no, I don't do anything. I just sit here and read. So, I
They're
can be
like,
arrested for reading. If I'm broke, I will be arrested for stealing books.
makes sense.
Okay. Either way, now I don't know what to say anymore because I just realized I misunderstood like the whole book. But I think honestly that it was written very like vague and confusingly, so it's hard to like. I know probably people that was smarter than me understood it like at once, but like honestly, now I think that the book was written more confusingly than I even thought it was.
Yeah, it was definitely written in a way where we were supposed to be confused. I mean, at least a little bit. Only Sandra needs to
Yeah.
get speed. Yep.
I just think that like I'm not saying the book is terrible or anything like that, but maybe the book just apparently wasn't for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was like, did I not have enough brain cells for this?
Apparently, my brain cells were turned off. But I was
Literally.
when I was reading it, I was on sprints and I was so excited to read Yellowface. Maybe I should have like taken more time on it. But it's like I felt like I read it and like understood it at the time, and like I was more focused on like the different stories. But I guess the different stories is just about like the people not living in this matrix place.
True. I think it would have been more interesting, or if instead of like the stories interwoven, if it was more kind of like a short story collection,
Yeah,
where we just had different stories instead of like them weirdly weaved in.
I think it would have been better done. I
Yeah.
agree. Already with the rewriting every time. Let's go.
Now we're already rewriting. I'm like, I think if it was just a short story collection, but still had like, of course, the
I
world
think
building and stuff, I think it would have been.
yeah. I think that like it would be a good short story collection if like we could still be in the city, but we could be different people in the city. So like we
Right.
could have like one like cop thing. We can have another person maybe like interacting like with the world and how it is to live there as not a cop person. So that we would know that they're and maybe they would like interact with a cop so that we would know like how they function, apparently because they astral project stuff.
Yes.
And then we would have like maybe another short story with like people living outside the city and like thinking about the city, and maybe like someone who had lived in a city and then like left it, and then maybe someone maybe who wanted to go to the city and how that is. So then we would have like 4 different perspectives of how the city functions, and at the same time having point of views in the world. We can even have like a point of view of people living normally, and then like the city like excuse me, and then the city like what's it called, like was created.
Yeah.
So then we would have like many different perspectives.
Yeah, I think that would have been really good. I lost my train of thought. Oh, and what it makes the title make even more sense if it was a short story collection too. In the Watchful City, just would be a good title for a short story collection.
Yeah.
Like, were all these stories in a watchful city?
I mean, the stories didn't even need to be that long, and we already had short stories in here. We
Right.
just needed to cut all like the whatever we were doing,
Mhm.
and then just like we could even like follow the same characters. We could have like the first story could be like the parents before they went to the city, then they
Yeah.
come to the city, and then the next story is about like Air growing up without their parents.
Mhm.
And then the next story, like we can have like maybe first one focusing on the parents being on their own. The next story be about like Amina, and
Mhm.
then like it could have been like the same, just like without. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like it just could have been like arranged a little bit differently
Yeah,
so that it could have been like, yeah. I enjoyed it a lot, but I don't think the brain cells for it either really felt like it had a message. Yeah, exactly. I would say I would like to have story transition be more clear.
I think
Mhm.
it's like written in a way where like you lose attention pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Like you
exactly.
cannot like, and maybe that sounds a bit mean, but it's just written like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's just the way it's written. We can listens to it, but
Yeah, because I didn't get the message of the stories. I was just like, some person is doing this, and I was like, okay.
exactly. Like, what
And
was
I
the?
was like, okay, like I was waiting for like kind of like a punchline for each story, like when you listen to like fairy tales when you're a child, and it's like you're not supposed to steal because then like a troll will
Mhm.
eat you. It
Yeah,
wasn't. I just sat there and I was like, what?
I was like, what was
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Exactly. I would enjoy. Yeah, exactly. I
yeah.
think it would have been really good as a short story collection.
It was almost a short story collection, but even the short
Really.
stories, these short stories, while I enjoyed them, didn't make any sense for the book it was in. Because I felt
Exactly.
like they weren't in the same world. Like I mean they were, but they didn't feel like it's like I write a book about like people living in the sky, and then my next story is about a dude buying a banana. Like how does these two things connect? It was like that.
It was like, what
And,
is the point?
and
Like,
like while the story with the dude buying the banana was very interesting, it doesn't mean that it fits into this book.
yeah, it's kind of like, okay, that was some weird whiplash, especially if you're reading them like right after another. Then it's
Yeah.
just like, wow, okay, that was a tone shift.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Maybe I don't know. I will probably give it like a 3.
yeah. I think
Because
I'll give
apparently
it a little better now that we've had talk about it. So I think I'll do 2.5 or 3. I don't know. I might say 2.5, but I might just give it a 3 just to be nice.
but it's not like in a top favorite for facing case.
Oh yeah, no,
No.
it's not. It's not a worst though. We've had
No, 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 no.
definitely not.
The
It's like,
worst is still a dark and hollow
God,
star.
that was bad. Oh, and then Master of One.
Oh no, that is actually worse than a
That
dark
one
and
was
hollow
worse.
star.
That one was a
That
bit
was worse.
worse.
You know, I kind of deleted a massive one from my brain. I don't remember anything happened, but nothing happened. So
Part of me wants to like reread it just for
no,
shit.
you don't.
It's like, I mean, if I really hate myself, I'll do it. But
At least a dark and hollow star made more sense than a massive one.
you're right. At least I saw the concept and the point. Like, there was a plot.
Yeah, like a Dark and Hollow Star was just written badly, but it's like it was like a book that made sense.
Yeah.
One of Most of One just had no point of anything.
Your least favorite was Blackwing's beating
Banned,
band. No,
banned,
least.
banned. That was beating smashed. What are
Yeah,
you
that was
talking about?
good.
That was really good. I feel like you need a whole separate live show only to talk about all our previous books.
We should
I
try
think
to
the one,
remember what we about these previous books because we can't remember books for anything.
I think the one that was like the most fun that like surprised me is still what's it called? Uh, The Darkness Outside Us.
Yeah.
The
That
dude,
yeah, that
two
one we
dudes on
were
the ship.
shocked. We were like, that one was
And now, and the question still stands: would you have sex with yourself? That's all I
exactly.
have to ask.
Would you have sex with your clone?
I mean, Bone Our Daughter wasn't amazing, but it wasn't as bad as Mouse of One and A Dark Hollow Star.
Yeah.
I read a sequel to that, and it's still not amazing to me, but it's like an like okay serious.
Yeah, like I could see why people would like it, stuff like that. The other ones, I don't get it. I
I
don't.
guess like I'm sorry, I'm looking at the list now.
Yeah.
I mean, the Memory Librarian was kind of mad too.
Yeah, I didn't even finish it. I was like, this is not for me. I was like,
uh,
"Eh."
we had some really good smashing ones. Sorry for
We
changing
did
my
have some really
subject.
good ones. And
Even
then
though it was
my
challenging and
infamous
annoying, the
rant.
whole word didn't make sense. I'm still like, where did all models come from? I'm supposed to know or care. They were like the ancient people that like just lived like celebrated like with their culture. Like, where did people come from in general? You don't have answers to that. Where did Native Americans come from? They just lived. They were kind of like that.
True. True. Plus, the main dude was like 15, so.
And he like had been like beaten by his father for his like whole life and burned and beaten and verbally abused. So
Abused 15-year-old. Yeah, he'll be annoying, which is fair.
oh,
Yeah. Oh, it was so. Yeah, it was good. That one was good too.
I still think about that actually. But I don't know if it's my favorite. I think my favorite might be Gideon the Ninth.
Wait, when we think about it, in our book club picks, like the ones we were just talking about, the sci-fi ones seem to be our favorites. When we were looking back at those ones specifically, the ones we were just talking about, those
Except I mean, the Bone season is not the sci-fi, but it's
yeah,
a
Bone
bit
Season,
it's a bit dystopian. So it's a bit
Yeah.
sci-fi.
But yeah, like all the other ones we were just talking about, they were all sci-fi when I was thinking about it.
Diets. Then I'm expecting. Well, this was sci-fi, and it was.
Oh, this was sci-fi. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, we've had some bad fantasy picks. Like,
We have, but it's because there's. I think like obviously there's a lot of sci-fi, but like I feel like it's easy to find queer fantasy,
true.
and then you kind of like are not as picky, and then
You're right. You're right.
I blame Eric from Master of One. He was the one who wanted to read it. I blame
You're
him.
right. You're right. And then
He
it
was
was
the one.
bad.
Yeah, it was bad. Poor Eric.
Eric was like, "Yeah, it was."
He was just like, well,
He was like, "I'm sorry, guy."
sorry.
See, and the 40 chess, I will brutally murder everyone who surrenders to me. Surrender without a.
Who? What are you talking about?
I'm assuming this is also
Blackwood's beating. I don't.
I need to continue on with that series. I haven't continued on yet.
I read the whole thing.
It's good, or it keeps getting good. What like happened if I was supposed to know?
I thought that the Blackwood's reading was like one of our simplest written books.
It was definitely more on the simple
yeah.
side. Yeah.
No.
So bad. Eric had to escape class.
Eric is fancy now. He's like a literary agent. He doesn't have time for this shit.
Exactly.
So yeah, this shit. But it was a big significant thing that didn't mean anything to me as an audience. Well, it meant something to me. No.
Yeah, it was
sorry. I'm being aggressive.
It was.
It's fine. You're allowed to think that.
It was the most important thing in my week.
Yeah. We read bad sci-fi too, though. We read the Gear Breakers.
Oh yeah, that was not.
And then the Bluebird.
Oh yeah, that was not fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was
and what was it called? First Sister.
The City We Became, my one that I hated.
I love that. That is a controversial opinion.
Remember, I took notes. When I take notes, you know it's gonna be a rant.
Either way, we had good times. We now it sounds like we're never returning. In June, which is now, we are reading the final Strife. I have it over there. I forgot to bring it, but yeah, it has two different covers. I have a copy, and in July we are reading The Dispossessed by Ursula Le Guin.
I'm excited about both.
I don't think that the my relationship in Dispossessed is very minor, but
it's there.
I think it's more about like an utopia world. So I'm excited to see if we will like it. Because it's more for classic sci-fi as well. I heard really good about the final things about the final Strife.
Yep.
So very excited.
It's gonna be great. The City We Became tested by patience. Yeah.
It was so good.
Oh,
so leave both of you. I got a notification now. Facing His live 4 minutes ago. I swear I will check next time.
I was checking and I was like, oh no, Sandra, okay?
You need to call me, but I mean, it didn't have a phone.
I know. Yeah, that would have. Because usually it'll say that you were like active or something. So I was like, oh no, I was gonna call you if we got to like 30 minutes, then I would have called you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Dispossessed. I feel like if I don't like it, I'm gonna have to quit the club because that would be so rude. But I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Sandra, do you have any queer books that you like?
Oh shit, we are doing that shit.
I don't know. Did you want to do that shit?
I mean, I have read so much lately and my brain is kind of fried. What do I have on my list?
Fair.
Need to look.
Or queer rec, I should say.
Oh no, I would not recommend that. That was shit. All the books I read are not queer.
God.
I read a lot of books. I read 40 books.
I saw that. I saw that.
in May, and none of them are queer. Wait, give me a second.
You're a bad gay. No, kidding.
I mean, some of them were queer, but would I recommend them? That's another question, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
Actually, all the ones I read, I was like,
Mm,
eh.
fair.
Now I need to go back really far. I don't have anything.
Okay.
I'm really boring. I like the ones I read are like rereads.
Mm.
Do you have anything?
I have two. Well, I have one that I'm currently reading, and I have one that I finished like a couple weeks ago. The one I finished a couple weeks ago, it's called Bad Gays. It's a nonfiction. It's called like Bad Gays: A Homosexual History, and so it goes over some either morally gray or just evil queer people throughout history, and kind of looks
I will
into
be there.
yes. Well, okay, no, you won't because like it goes into like there's like a Nazi, and then it talks about some.
Oh,
So it looks into how their queerness affected how they went about life and how they did some of the things they did, whether they were like secretly homophobic to themselves or it was very interesting the profiles we went down. So I would recommend that one. And then the book I'm currently reading is kind of fantasy, but also kind of historical. Let me remind myself of the author because I don't remember. Oh, When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill.
no!
Why? What's wrong with it?
I didn't like it.
Oh, well, I'm reading it right now. Okay, I'm only like halfway through, so it could get worse, but I'm really liking it so far.
It was my Patreon buddy read pick for early this year. So I
Mhm.
read it with my patrons. I was like, I had a live show for that. Why weren't you there? But because I thought in my head it was for the club. I don't know why. But
Oh,
for
that's
this,
fair.
yeah. And he read it, and I was just like, it was just very like cis.
It is a little cis. It is definitely cis. Yeah, you're right.
So
But
that disturbed me.
yeah,
And it,
it's
yeah, but I mean, I
like it is
liked. I gave it 3 stars.
true. I am very much liking the most part the concept of the dragonings and people turning into dragons. I'm like, I want to know more about that. Like
But
that is so.
it's you don't get to know more about that, so that's why I was like,
Oh, that's annoying. All right, well, I'll see it. That it might change my mind by the end of it, but so far it's good. But like,
mistakes were made. I'm searching up
okay,
all these books.
let's see. Mistakes were made.
Ooh, is this the one you were fangirling over? Or is that something else?
Let me.
Sexy rom-com. I think this is the one you were fangirling over.
Oh,
And
this
then
is a
it's
cute cover. Most recently, minutes. It's great. You can't go without. Ooh, let me look this up. Let me look that up. Let me look that up.
I've wanted to read My Day Henry. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh yeah, My Dear Henry's on my list to read. I
Yeah.
just haven't gotten there. I've been in the middle of one book for 5 months now, and I just don't want to keep reading it, but I have to.
Why? He
Because my
said Fire and
boyfriend
Blood.
gifted it to me. Yes, a Fire Blood. I'm still in the middle of it.
Just throw it in the trash.
No, it was a gift
Yeah.
for Christmas, and I feel bad if I do
We don't
that.
care. We don't care.
We don't care. Okay, get Seven of Infinites. That's a cool cover. Let me see. What else we got?
Caleb Barron has so many more books coming this year.
Right? I'm
It's like
like,
I was just like, what? No, because I was checking just now because I know that she wrote My Dear Henry. And then she
yeah.
also has like You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, which comes out in June. And then she has something called The Vanquishers that comes in August. And then she also has another book called Secret of the Reaping coming in October. Like
Oh my
three that's and then My Dear Henry came in April. So that's 4 books in 1 year.
She's writing like those like the Kindle Unlimited authors that'll put out like 5 books in a year. Like that's how she's writing. It's like you
Wow,
can
huh? I
you
sorry,
can
I
take a
just
break. You can take a break.
but I guess like they all written a while ago and then like they all just randomly comes out at the same time
Fair.
now. But I was just like so
Yeah.
shocked. What the
It's
fuck?
true. And I know some were delayed. Like I think the Vanquishers was supposed to come out last year. So it could be that. Either way, that's still a lot of books.
Yeah, I was just gonna put something on my wish list. I already ordered You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight because I thought that sounds really interesting. It's like a horror thing. And
Ooh,
mistakes were made. No, I was searching up seven
I just
in.
saw the cover and the cover looks cool. The cover looks
Oh,
cool.
it doesn't want to show up because I don't have a book depository to search for books anymore.
It's so depressing. Where have you been buying your books now?
Blackwell, but it doesn't have a good search engine. So like if I search up a book, it doesn't always show up. So I need to Ian's Benom number. So I need to go and search for someone else, and it's just annoying. I get really annoyed. This
Mm-mm.
looks good. This looks good, but it has weird additions. Mistakes were made. That was the one I searched. Best man. Best man.
Best man.
Sydney Kroger.
Let's see.
Oh, it looks very cute.
Let me see.
Papa Curse Mickey. I can't say makes it. Well, a Quake.
Oh yeah.
I can't. My brain died.
What, a Qiouyi Mezi?
I do that, but we don't have all if they're only US
Oh,
published.
my Goodreads just crashed.
I will throw in Cursed Cocktails.
I want a cursed cocktail. That sounds delicious.
Ugh, nothing wants to show up. This is too much effort, you guys.
Oh, here it is. Cursed Cocktails by S.L. Rowland. Why don't you search your own bookstore? Exactly, Sandra. Start your own bookstore. Oh, Cursed Cocktails. That looks so cute. Is that from the same author who wrote Legends and Lattes?
I can't search up on Storygraph because then I can't see how much it costs, which editions are available. I don't need to scroll through all the editions.
Let's see.
And that's like everything.
No, it doesn't look like it is. Either way, I like that.
Either way, do we have more to say about In the Watchful City?
Not particularly.
Well, I gave it 3 stars, and I apparently didn't understand the book. That's final thoughts.
Exactly. Pretty much the same. Gave it 3 stars. Didn't understand the book.
Yeah, we always the same. Except on The City We Became.
Yeah, I stand by it. What if I reread it? What if I... like I liked it more.
I read a sequel. It was supposed to be a trilogy, but she just went and made it into a duology. And it was like an okay sequel. But I felt like it could have had a trilogy.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, I was not a fan. I like that you averaged out your scores. We did.
I went down, you went up.
I was like, you know what? Fine. Okay, I see the ingenuity.
Now I'm gonna go in and change it on Goodreads before I forget.
I know, I haven't updated mine. It still says I'm reading it. I'm like, I have finished it.
Okay, well, you need to add me a Storygraph. I asked you like 14 times, and you never.
I know. I fully did. At least I thought I did, and then my Wi-Fi went out, and then I forgot to go back and do it.
Well, you could do it now.
Send me the link again because I don't remember. But yes, so I hope we see you guys next month for our next live show.
Yes. Is it gonna be on my channel because your channel is dead, or you still on your channel?
Whatever you want to do.
Well, I just meant that you don't. I don't know if you use your channel anymore. So like,
I use it on the daily, but do I post? I haven't posted in a minute. I mean, I want to. I just have been busy, so I haven't had the energy to. But I might.
Well, we will let you all know what we decide.
We'll let you know.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.